Hello guys, it's Blues Art, and today we are doing Notes the Procreate. Let's begin. So here's a little disclaimer, so you might need to pause to read it. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Feel free to leave a comment at the end of which you think won. Notes, let's go. I mean, it is traditionally for writing, so it is hard to kind of judge it on its art, but I'm opening up the brush section. It does have quite a good variety. So this brings me on to our first category, range of brushes. I think this is good, but it wasn't great. So I think we'll put it good. We do have quite a few brushes, so I'm just going to go through a couple of my favorites, starting off with the fountain pen. I've selected black, easiest one. You can change that color on the wheel or any of the set colors. I've got the opacity wheel and the density wheel, and this is pretty much the same for all the pens. This is another one of our categories on the rank, so let's look at it. Okay, so I really like the shadow detailing on this. I don't know about you, or just another really classy feature from the Apple Pencil. So all I'm doing here is just showing about how the pressure you put on your pen will affect the density. The fountain pen doesn't show this very well, but I know that other pens usually do. Fountain pen is good for flow and just the gentle control. However, it's not very good at auto-correcting handwriting, which some of the other pens are better at. Speaking of which is your generic ballpoint pen. So we've got a light stroke. Yep, there we go, light stroke. And then we've got heavy, heavy, medium, medium, medium. It is so good at picking up pressure, but you'll see what I mean in a minute because I think Procreate's better. So if I just write Blues Art here, here's another great feature because it's not best handwriting now, but there you go. The auto refining handwriting feature on Notes is quite good, but like I said before, don't use it on fountain pen, it will read it all wrong. And due to the fact that we're limited on the brushes we can use and the brush it does work on isn't as effective, I think we're gonna have to put it in minimal because it does do its job, but minimally. Next up, a fan favorite, the Watercolor Rush. This was released alongside the crayon and the fountain pen, but I think I'm gonna go a little bit lilac-y, grey purple. I've got no idea what I'm gonna do, but we'll just start off light so we can build on it. That's the trick with watercolor. Real life, hand on notes. But I'm just gonna build that up just to make it a bit more even. Then I might blend it out with a blue, I think. So I'll just do a bit on the edge. Yet again, I don't really know what I'm trying to create, just a nice hue. How about we turn it into a cloud? So I'll probably just get the ballpoint brush and draw an edge. And I can show you how my horrible drawing of a cloud is going to actually turn out really well. So I've just drawn the outline, but then if I use this brush, which is the generative AI brush, if you will, I believe it's only on models with Apple Intelligence. Don't quote me on it, but I think so. So if you have Genmoji and stuff, it'll work. If you just draw a line around your drawing, it helps Apple Intelligence try and see what you're trying to describe. So if I now type in cloud alongside my drawing, it'll give me a picture of a cloud, well drawn, a bit better than mine, that looks like my drawing is done. And there you go. That one has the exact same sort of grading properties, but every time you swipe, it'll generate you a new one. That does stay there though. I quite like all of these, but I think I like the first one the most, so I just press done. If I press it, there we go, it works. You can work, there we go. This is a really great tool. It's very accurate. I do love the detail, but I don't know how useful it would be compared to other automated things that are, dare I say, simpler but yet more effective. For that reason, I think it's not perfection there, but it is great. So I think we'll put it in great. I think that was the right decision. And here we have Procreate, the expensive model. Maybe? actually the better one. It is one of the more expensive apps on the market, especially for creative stuff. And I'm not talking about, you know, your memberships, it's just the app and the software itself. They do have a couple variants, but I'm just going to be showing you the generic Procreate today. You are able to move your canvas around the screen, which I just think is such a lovely detail, and it does help more than you think. Personally, I'd say Procreate's accessibility and user requirements is one of the best, and I'll show you by going into settings, preferences, and then here we have the little cursor, brush cursor, can you see that? And that is just such a small detail but makes such a difference. So if I go ahead and turn that off, you will need an Apple Pencil to really see the benefits of this, by the way. Now I'm going to go onto my brushes. I'll come on to Monoline DOG Procreate brush. And as you can see, it's only the little strokes I'm doing here, but as I use bigger ones, it just feels like I'm using my finger. I'm not feeling the benefit of the Apple Pencil really much, even though I do have that management of the density of my strokes. But it's just missing something. Now if I go ahead and turn brush cursor on, before I'm even touching page, you see the little hover? The little hovers, it's going to tell you where to go. These are super helpful if you're doing stamp work, which I'll get to in a minute. So now I'm looking at brushes, and I think you can download these. This is what I love. Procreate community works together, they design brushes. You can get some packs for free, some you have to pay, but there are some really good free ones. One of my free ones comes from my botanical section. Well, I have quite a few in there, so I'll just get that up. There we go. And all of these are free. So I'm going to use the Rose Peony. This is a very big stamp. As you can see, it's not just like a brush that makes a circle, it's literally like stamping onto the page. And you can see that it kind of hovered then before it. Really helpful. Now obviously this isn't for everyone. Not everyone needs a Rose Peony stamp and a hovering feature, which is why they might not be willing to pay the price of £14. That varies depending on where you are in the world. Now moving on to the blend feature, which is crazy to me because we've not even touched half of Procreate's features, which you'll see me use in other videos. You can use exactly the same brushes that you use for your normal brush as a blend. I prefer to use hair, as you can see there. It just has a cleaner blend than something really circular, which will make it look a bit more blunt. Now, as promised, here are my thoughts on Procreate's version of Pressure, because this is just like a fountain pen equivalent, and look at how much better that is at Pressure. I can do this all day. It's so sensitive, but also so accurate. Look how faint that is, and then so much more than just light, medium and heavy. I can get so much more range. If I wasn't an artist, I wouldn't have bought Procreate, but I think it is good for anyone that likes art, likes to put around. It is a lot of fun, and it is very good at what it's supposed to do. And before we come to rank Procreate as a whole, there is one more feature, and that is its auto shape feature. When you draw a shape and it auto recognizes it. Although this is arguably very much less advanced than the generative fill feature in Notes, it is probably more useful. So you could say that it's better, and you could say it's worse. So therefore, I think it has to be equal. In conclusion, Procreate is better for art-based things, and it has so many other features like liquify, noise, Gaussian blur, clipping masks. But Notes is still a great software, which is very good for detailed work, more written-based things. If you're not an artist and you're not looking for something that needs loads of features, Notes is still a great option. And if you've made it this far in the video, why don't you give me a like? It would really help me out. This is actually my first ever full-length YouTube video, and I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.